It will be a first ever.
1 hour. That is how long finals tickets lasted at a WTA event in the American capital. 60 minutes, and Rock Creek Park Tennis Center was gone because the 21-year-old advancing to that final was not American. She was Filipina, unseeded, ranked 28th in the world, and her name is Alex Eala. The scoreboard would later say she beat Naomi Osaka 6-4, 6-2.
Alex Eala, another sensational performance.
What Osaka said afterward, inside the interview room,
she's incredible. I think she's a star. And it's just really cool to have someone like her.
The day she lost is the part of this story tennis will not forget. Rewind 7 days. Eala walked into Washington, D.C. without a seed next to her name, having not struck a hard-court ball in nearly 2 weeks since her Wimbledon round of 16 run. Her only previous WTA final ended in a championship tiebreak at Eastbourne last year, a 10-12 loss that left her 2 points from history. And when she arrived at Rock Creek Park, her fitness coach was not with her. Her travel coach was not with her. Only Joan Bosch, one man in her corner navigating the swirling winds of a city that was about to become a Filipino stadium. The draw was not a draw, it was a wall. Jung Chinwen, Olympic gold medalist, in the opening round, then 7th seed Leylah Fernandez, a former U.S. Open finalist, then 2nd seed Elina Svitolina, the defending champion of this tournament, and waiting at the semifinal 3rd seed Naomi Osaka, 4-time Grand Slam winner and former world number 1. Every match asked a different question: rust, nerve, tactics, star power, and no Filipina had ever answered all 4 questions in the same week, because no Filipina had ever reached a WTA 500 final. Jung, for her part, added the first spark of tension. After their 3-set opener, she briefly clasped Eala's hand and walked. The clip went viral. Reddit tennis fans pushed back that Jung handles all losses similarly, so treat it as texture, not evidence, but the tone of the tournament was set from that first handshake. Start with Jung. Eala dropped the opening set 4-6, then rebuilt her game in real time, 6-4, 6-1 to close it out. 2 weeks off the tour showed in the first hour. It was gone by the second. Then came Fernandez, and this is the match that quietly turned the week into a coronation. Down 1-5 in the second set, 1 game from a decider. Instead, Eala won 6 straight games and took the tiebreak 7-1. Final line: 6-2, 7-6. Remember Eastbourne? Remember 10-12? This was the same player who had once been 2 points from a title and lost from that position, now refusing to lose from a worse one. Sunday to Wednesday. Jung to Fernandez to Svitolina. Against the defending DC Open champion, Eala did not scrap. She dismantled 6-3, 6-4, her 6th top 10 win of the 2026 season. And every fan who spent the last 2 years arguing on Filipino tennis forums that this player was different, that the ranking was a lagging indicator rather than a ceiling, was reading a score line that finally caught up to what they had been saying since Miami, which brought Osaka. The numbers from that semifinal are not the numbers of an upset. They are the numbers of a takeover. Osaka won only 59% of her first serve points. Eala broke her 4 times out of 12 opportunities. 71% won on her own first serve, 83% on her second. She did not survive Naomi Osaka. She out-hit her. She outserved one of the most feared servers on tour. 6-4, 6-2, and the arena, a WTA 500 in an American capital, erupted like a football stadium in Manila. The Tennis Channel clip alone tells you what the ticket data already confirmed. Filipino sports media reported that roughly 80% of ticket buyers for the DC Open final were Filipino, sold out in about 60 minutes. And even Jessica Pegula, world number 3 based in South Florida, a Miami Open regular, went on record about it. I was just like, who are these people? What is going on? I'm an American. Where are these people coming from? Pegula was not complaining. She was surrendering. The number 3 player in the world was publicly admitting that when Alex Eala walks onto a court in the United States, the home crowd is no longer the home crowd. Then came the moment nobody scripted. 4 Grand Slam titles, 2 Australian Opens, 2 US Opens, a former world number 1. One of the highest paid female athletes on the planet and a cultural icon across Asian tennis for a decade. Naomi Osaka has been asked about hundreds of opponents in her career. She has almost never spoken about one the way she spoke about the woman who had just eliminated her from Washington. She's an amazing player. She's incredible. I think she's a star. I think it's amazing that she's such an inspiration, and I really love hearing her talk because it's really cool the things that she says. Read that again slowly. That is a 4-time major champion hours after her own defeat using the word star. Using the word inspiration, volunteering that she loves hearing Eala speak. This was not the polite courtesy of a loser to a winner. This was the sitting royalty of women's tennis publicly handing over a piece of the crown. And once a champion of Osaka's stature says those words on the record, the sport does not get to unhear them. The 1-hour ticket sellout is not a marketing story. It is a market signal. WTA schedulers, sponsor executives, and tournament directors from Toronto to Flushing Meadows now have proof, measurable, viral, ticketed proof, that a Filipina can turn a mid-tier stop in America into a home fixture. That is a shift in the economic geography of women's tennis, and it happened in the first week of August. The National Bank Open begins almost immediately in Canada, with Osaka defending 11th seed points and Eala arriving with a projected new career high as world number 25, and a projected WTA race to Riyadh position climbing toward the top 15. 3 weeks after that, the US Open in New York, and for the first time in the history of Philippine tennis, a Filipina will walk into a Grand Slam with a seed next to her name. There is a straight line from a 14-year-old moving to Mallorca to train to a 21-year-old making a 4-time slam champion say the word inspiration into a microphone. That line was drawn slowly. It was drawn quietly. And then over 7 days in Washington, it was drawn in permanent ink. The final itself did not end the way the week did. Rain suspended play on Sunday. Play resumed Monday. And Jessica Pegula, the world number 3, who had spent the previous 48 hours acknowledging the crowd, closed out the trophy 6-4, 6-2. Eala had already answered for the version of herself the sport was watching for. Speaking before that final, referencing Eastbourne without naming it, she said this: "I've developed a lot in the past year. I think I'm a little more experienced in handling that." She reportedly wrote on Instagram after the Osaka semifinal that she enjoyed every minute she spent on that court. From a championship tiebreak collapse in June of last year to a WTA 500 final in the United States Capitol 13 months later, the loss to Pegula does not erase what the week already carved into the record. 1 hour to sell out a final, 6 straight games to bury Leylah Fernandez, 4 break points converted against Naomi Osaka, and 1 sentence, "She's a star," delivered on the record by a 4-time major champion. The Pegula Trophy went to the American. The history did not. The first Filipina to reach a WTA 500 final is a title with one name on it permanently, and that name is Alex Eala. Every Filipino fan who spent the last 3 years being told this player was rising too slowly, that the ranking was the real story, that Eastbourne had exposed a ceiling, this week is the receipt. The mainstream tennis conversation is not catching up to Alex Eala anymore. It is quoting her, courting her crowds, and building the WTA calendar around her ticket sales. So here is the question that decides where this saga goes next. In 3 weeks in New York, Eala will play a Grand Slam as a seeded player for the first time. Is she a US Open quarterfinalist before this season ends? Yes or no? Stake your claim in the comments, name the round you think she reaches, and defend it. If you called Miami before Miami, if you called Wimbledon before Wimbledon, subscribe and put your prediction on record now, so that when this ends, the way you already know it ends, the timestamp proves you saw it first.